Hello, I'm Untitled Chapter, and one of the most underappreciated commands in Minecraft has to be the replace command, because everyone knows how /fill works. You can use it to fill an entire block filled with any block of your choosing, including diamond, for instance. Look at this, we've got a huge block of diamond. But one thing that a lot of people don't know is you can use this selectively with the replace adjustment, and you can make it only replace blocks of one of your choosing. So for instance, if we want to only replace grass blocks of diamonds, we can use this command right here, and we can replace all of the grass blocks around with diamond. Look how fun that is. And yeah, this is something you can use in a lot of different surprising ways in your Minecraft world to replace any amount of grass blocks. So we can use it right here, for instance, to replace a huge amount of grass and to make really interesting patterns without losing the shape and the beauty of the Minecraft world. And today I want to show you how you can use this not only to do some beautiful things, but also how you can totally ruin your Minecraft world using the exact same method. So for instance, you might be sad that pumpkins used to have faces on and now they don't. You might want to fix this great historical injustice, and you know what you can do? You can use the /replace command just like so, and you can replace all of your pumpkins with blocks that have faces on. Oh, look how cute all of these blocks are. Oh, they're all facing downwards actually, but you can have all of your blocks have this thing on them at least, if nothing else. You can do all sorts of weird things with the replace command, and I wanted to show you how to use it today to, you know, definitely make your world a better place. By the way, this video is sponsored by the Cave Update. Go to bit.ly/cave update and get 20% off your next Cave Update vote. I'm not sure how this advertisement works, okay? First of all though, just to explain the commands, those of you who aren't quite familiar, the way this works is you type in your fill parameters. So in this case, it's a 30 by 30 by 30 cube. Then you type the block you want to replace something with, and then you type, 0. And then you type replace, and then you type the block you want to replace. So, for instance, we can replace every single air block with a torch block. Obviously, a lot of those torches will be removed immediately, but we can do that, and what ends up happening is all the valid blocks are replaced, and you end up with something that looks like this. Every single place that can have a torch does have a torch, and we can do this across the entire village if we want to, because you know what's really annoying? When you go into a village and you find out that all the zombies of, all the villagers have died already because of zombies, right? It's the worst thing. So this is my easy solution to that. What you do is you type in, this exact thing right here, or for a small area, you replace all of the air blocks with torch blocks, and oh my god, never mind. Maybe don't go so high with the torches. Oh yeah, I see what we did here. This might be a new record for the fastest time we've ever broken the game while playing around with commands, by the way. I mean, on the one hand, our game might be effectively crashed, but on the other hand, look how safe the villagers are going to be with all these torches to protect them. Do you think we maybe need some more torches? I think that's what I can take away from this. So I've been sat here for 15 minutes just watching torches fall at 1 frame a second on my head. Do you think I have time to get some Five Guys? I think I'm worth 5 Guys. Oh, man! Okay, I think the kill entity command finally worked. It's funny, the game itself is literally cursed in this case, right? So the lesson I've learned here is use the exact command, but we've set the Y level, as you can see down there, to 7 instead of 30. So now that there are less torches falling from the sky, because they will fall eventually. And you want to make sure you're ready for that when it happens. So, oh yeah, like this. And now, after running that command all over the village, as you can see, we've made it so safe. Look how safe this entire place is. You can see how there's not a single part of this that has a chance of spawning in zombies and therefore risking the villagers' lives. I mean, the villagers died as part of the process because we had to get rid of all the torches, which involved killing all the entities involved. But besides the fact that there are no villagers to save, the villagers that would exist, the hypothetical villagers, are so safe right now. Look how safe this village looks. But the best bit is, you're not just limited to NPC villages or plains biomes or anything you can find normally like that. You can use an ocean monument too if you really want. So what I can do is I can replace every single prismarine block in the entire structure with some quartz stairs. Just like this with this command right there. As you can see, all of the blocks are now replaced with quartz stairs. People love stairs in Minecraft builds, so look how modern this looks. Look how fancy this is. And if we do it a few more times for every single layer, you can see slowly but surely the infection of the quartz taking over everything else. And you can see that we've made pure beauty right here, because again, everyone loves stairs so much, right? Wouldn't it be amazing if everything was stairs? I fix people's needs and I've made the world so much of a better place. You're welcome, by the way. But you can go even better than this if you really want to, because it's nice having all of these weird... I mean, actually, let's dive inside and let's look at this. But you know what would make it better than just having a bunch of water everywhere? I mean, this one was probably fairly predictable, right? Although I wasn't predicting that this would happen as a result. So yeah, we've replaced all of the water with lava, and I mean, I really should have seen that coming. I don't know how I didn't see that coming. It's made a really weird pattern where there is still water in between every other space, so that's kind of odd. But look at that. You know, this isn't a useful way to cover your prismarine lava, but it is a really handy way to make this really cool obsidian pattern that I actually do genuinely really like. So, okay, that hasn't gone according to plan, but maybe we could do something a bit simpler. We can replace all of the water surrounding the ocean monument with some air. This is something that takes so long in survival. Oh, this is fascinating to watch. Well, we can replace it for a few seconds, if nothing else. I am like the world's worst supervillain. I keep trying to make the world worse, but I'm accidentally making kind of cool things that make it better. I think, at least. This is just weird to watch, right? But yeah, as you can see, we have now fixed everyone's complaints about the ocean monument, which is that there wasn't enough lava and that there weren't enough stairs, because people love stairs. It's how you make modern design in Minecraft. I'm telling you, that's just a fact right here. Speaking of things that are just facts, everyone hates gravel, right? Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could get rid of all this gravel down here on the ocean surface? So what if we replaced all of the gravel with some concrete powder instead? Wouldn't that be much nicer? Because concrete powder is the one use you actually get from gravel, and look, it actually is immediately noticeable how much nicer this is. Although one of the mistakes that I've just realized is that concrete powder doesn't really work very well underwater, so it's all immediately turned into concrete instead. But still, look how much cooler the underwater looks when it's concrete powder. And just as a pro tip, in case you do want to do this yourself, what I'd actually recommend is instead of like going down below and trying to do it that way, take advantage of the fact that you can just change the from commands to be 2 blocks below your feet, and then that way it covers all the ridges and the grooves off a ocean, which as you can see now looks much better. And now as you can see, we've made the ocean floor a much nicer place. Again, being filled with gravel, that's just a bummer, that's just a downer. We have made ocean diversity a much nicer place, and we can take this a step further if we want to, because as well as replacing the gravel, you can also replace the blocks on it. You can be like, you know what, all of this seagrass, I like seeing it and all, but you know I'd much rather see. That's right, it's acacia doors. We all know it in our heart, we all know it in our souls. This is just a much better, more biodiverse ocean. This is what we should do in the real world, really. I'm making some real good solutions to fix the world right here, I reckon. Because plants famously are so bad for the environment, but you know what's good for the environment? Making doors. That's lots of jobs that I could create, because job creating is a good thing, and we have this many doors in our ocean, I reckon more people would go scuba diving. Like, you know what sucks when you go scubaing? You get your foot caught in one of these and then you drown. You're never going to get your foot caught on one of these. All you have to do is open it or close it. Just saying. Much better solution. And the oceans look much better already. You can see the stark difference, but we're not done yet. We might have fixed oceans. We might have fixed ocean monuments. We might have fixed the villager problem, but we can do one better. I reckon we've got to make trees less flammable. I reckon we've got to replace all of our trees with things that are just, less sustainable to fires. And you know what I think is less sustainable to fires? You know why our houses don't burn down? Because we don't build them out of wood anymore. What we build our houses out of, it's good old trusty brick. And you can see how immediately, seconds after placing that there, all of the forest fires are gone now. There's nothing that can catch on fire, because all we need to do is take the exact same approach to trees that we've taken to pretty much everything in the world and say, hey, if what we do kills it, then you know what? I guess what we do kills it. I guess the concept of trees has to be dead now. And you know what? That's a fine trade-off to make. And that's why we replaced all of these beautiful, beautiful tree trunks with bricks. And as you can see, significantly improved. But you might say, Toycat, there's still a fire hazard, There's still some amount of natural material remaining. And, global warming means that's going to set on fire more and more. Well, I thought of that too, don't you worry. That's right, I've got the genius plan to replace all leaves with glass, and then that gives you this really cool kind of like urban tree feel. Because sometimes when you look at a tree, you don't want to feel the beauty that is nature. Sometimes you want to look at a tree and you want to think, yeah, that looks a bit like my house, but in a different shape, in a less livable shape, and I think you get an absolutely beautiful appearance when you do this. And obviously in the real world, my idea is replacing all tree trunks with bricks and all tree leaves with glass. It's going to be a hard idea to get all the materials for. We could do it one day, but it takes some time. You know how long it takes in Minecraft? It takes 10 minutes. Do your part, fix global warming, because that's what I've done today. I've given you a solution to global warming, and whether you take it or not is up to you. So yeah, I think we're doing pretty well so far. We fixed ocean diversity crises. We fixed the problems with global warming. We fixed villager, fears, all problems on pretty much an even footing with each other. What more can we fix, you might question? So there's something I don't think I've ever told you before. It's one of these private thoughts I don't really share on the YouTube channel, but I've always thought Minecraft would be improved if there was a update to the caves. I don't know what you'd call it, an underground update or something along those lines, but I've always thought, wouldn't it be great if there was a better form of underground? And what if we took a cool new Minecraft feature from 1.13, say, and made it a cave-related one? Wouldn't it be cool if there was something called cave bergs and, you know, you could find a bunch of caves that just spawn naturally in the world? Wouldn't that be amazing? But the risk could be that, like, oh no, these cave berg biomes, you know, they spawn from, like, volcanoes or magma or, you know, I don't know science to volcanoes. I just know that you don't want to be near one, generally speaking, and this polar bear definitely is on board with that thought. You know, he didn't want to be nearby one that badly that he just died. Seriously though, real talk, why doesn't Minecraft have volcanoes? Just saying. But wouldn't it be cool if we had these huge cave berg biomes, volcano-style biomes? And what if instead of blue ice, we had diamond ore? Or because this is a video and I can make stuff up, what if we had diamond blocks instead? If you don't know, one of the current rewards of finding a iceberg biome is you get some blue ice, a pretty rare, hard to find block otherwise. What if it was diamond? Or, again, we can just be absurd and say, what if it was diamond blocks? Because screw it, we don't need game balance if we have a cave update. I mean, we actually kind of want a cave update because the game needs balance, but let's ignore realistic points for the purpose of saying, isn't this beautiful? This definitely isn't patchily put together on the spot using commands 5 or 6 times in a row. This is pure beauty. Okay, so I've got a new idea. What if we used this exact same thing to perpetually replace blocks as it follows me around, maybe? At the very least, what we can do with this is we can make an endless supply of torches in the sky. I mean, have you ever wanted endless torch rain that eventually will lag out your game? I know you secretly have. Well, this is a thing you can do using command blocks. Surprisingly, we haven't broken the world with this. Okay, this is the ultimate tester. Let's have the torch rain go even higher up. Have you ever wondered, what if torch rain, but way bigger? Well, this is the result, my friends. What a beauty it is as well. What a beautiful thing we can do. Just in case you thought to yourself, you know what, that torch rain was pretty cool, Toy Cat. I'd love to have that break my Minecraft world all the time. Now you know, you just need one repeating command block, and you too can have an infinite supply of torches. Have you ever looked at one of these mesa biomes and just thought, you know, I could do this much better? Okay, can you tell me honestly this isn't a much cooler biome than the one we started with? I don't think you honestly can, but it gets better than this beautiful kind of like land and sea, or like beach and sea kind of map we've almost made here. Somehow we made it even more beautiful. That's right, replace the red sand with the black glazed terracotta, and now you've got yourself a much better biome. I mean, if you put terracotta in the furnace anyway, you eventually end up with glazed terracotta. Why not just put the entire mesa in the furnace? I think we've gone back to the Middle East thing again, but you know what? Let's move on to something else. So something I've wanted forever is a cave update. One of the most requested updates in Minecraft's history is a cave update. They've been left alone for years, but what if we can use our infinite wisdom in this one command that this whole video is based on, and what if we could make a cave update? That's right, with a command as simple as this one right here, we can turn all of the nether, bit by bit. I mean, there are much more efficient ways, but we can turn all of the nether into a beautiful, beautiful cave. And the best bit is if there is any glowstone or anything else like that, that'll be left here. So if we go over here, for instance, it almost feels like we're painting the nether as we go. It's quite a satisfying little thing. Like, it's like a paintbrush just going over a huge swath of it. And that's the best bit about this command. It feels like you're just an artist, which you totally are if you're promoting the cave update. Wow, look at the new cave dimension we created, isn't it beautiful? The answer is yes. Yes, it is beautiful. If I can make a cave update using a command in 5 minutes, why can't Mojang do it? It's clearly exactly the same amount of work. I assure you, I am a game programming expert. That is definitely my job title. Definitely not dude who just shills for cave update every day. We've got a solution to the Middle East crisis, and you know, I don't think this should go in a Minecraft video. Have you ever seen a desert temple and thought to yourself, like, you know what, it's a shame that these things are so far below the sand, but I don't want to go through the whole effort myself of manually removing that sand? Well, as always, you better believe the solution's here, because we're replacing all of this sand with some air, and we're gonna just, you know, uncover all of the surroundings, you know, to really show off the beauty of the desert temple. We can even do the same for grass and then dirt, just like this. Oh, and now we can see the desert temple from all its sides. Look at the beauty that you can see so much better now. You know, the coverings have been, you know, revealed, and we can see all of the beauty that is the multiple block deep desert temple But what if we could do better than this? What if we could remove all of the blocks below the desert temple, layer by layer, block by block, until the game apparently cannot keep up with it? And then what if we got rid of the water as well, because that annoys us too much? Well, then what we'd end up seeing in the end is this. This is what the desert temple actually looks like on its surroundings. It's got a really interesting shape in that it's much bigger than you see from the surface. There's a lot more sandstone and a very specific layer down there because it's designed to be covered a little bit in sand to be uncovered by you, the player. But then interestingly enough, you can also see down here that like, oh yeah, look at that. There's the side of it. We have uncovered a beautiful structure, made the world a much better place, and all we had to do was flood and destroy entire rivers to do so. I think that's a worthwhile trade if you ask me. Also, looking at this, it's a good way to, using that command to replace stone with air is a pretty useful way to actually uncover ores if you really want to, because ores are not stone, so they're not replaced that way. So yeah, if you ever want to find all of the ores in your world, or if you just want to have floating ores, which let's be honest, we all kind of do, then you can just repeat what we did, but in a biome that isn't covered in sand and sandstone. And what we end up with is effectively one of the most effective excavation methods, but unlike just the fill command, where you're just replacing everything with air, you're actually going to be able to see what you're filling in with that space instead. So we're going to see how much gravel is in a 60 by 60 area. We're seeing how many iron ore chunks we apparently find, which is a huge number it seems. And now after we've finished all of that, as well as creating even more lag, which everyone loves, everyone's favorite thing in the world, we've created this beautiful, peek into a Minecraft world. Something that would otherwise be very tricky without an editor is now visible for anyone if you're willing to go through, just a few minutes of effort. Now you can see what the world looks like from below. You can see all of this dirt, this iron, this coal. And if this isn't a beautiful invention, I don't know what is. But just in case you're wondering, like, so Toycat, how does this improve the world? Well, think about it this way. Does the world not need art? Does the world not need things to make it question what is even going on and why they're watching a video right now, for instance, hypothetical? Does the world not need confusing things that don't necessarily make sense but activate, different neuron pathways in your brain that might make you come up with something that is interesting, or even that just make you feel more whole or more alive? Does the world not need things like this? And if you think the answer to that question is no, then yeah, clearly this was a waste of your time, not mine. But if you think the answer to that question is yes, then this is a really cool way to spice up a little bit of your world. If you're playing around in creative anyway, and a lot of people do play around with creative, why not make some confusing places like this to really allow people to see like, oh yeah, this is how much coal spawns in a chunk. As you can see, it starts way higher, then gets lower, and then iron gets lower, etc. It's a fun way to explain some information visually, and also just be a very interesting thing to look at in general. And yeah, is that not what art is? If you disagree though, just in case you disagree, then why don't I direct you to what was originally the inspiration for this entire video anyway, because here is, as you can all tell, a pillager outpost. It starts with 4 torches on there, and because of that, mobs spawn all over it. But what if you wanted to fix mob spawning there? What if you didn't want any mob spawning and you didn't want to get it dark and all these sorts of things? Well, here is where this all comes in. Because you can decide to cover every single block in this thing with a torch. You can make it rain torches if you really want, and isn't that beautiful in its own little way? Isn't it beautiful that we can take all the cobblestone in a structure and replace it with trapdoors instead? That is beautiful. And when we combine the two things together, we get something that has the shape of something we all recognize, but has a very different form factor indeed. Does that not hugely improve the world? Because if there's just one thing I've learned from people who are very picky builders on the internet, it's that using slabs and stairs instead of full blocks is just a cooler thing to do. So isn't it cool that you can take your own Minecraft world, you can critique it, and you can replace all of its blocks with slabs? Now you can take that criticism out on the structures of the game itself if you want to. Look how much better it looks when we use slabs instead of blocks. Aren't slabs just the future? Do you ever catch yourself being one of those people who is like, you know what, I think fences are a much better thing than blocks because they don't take up a whole space. I mean, Minecraft isn't a game that's based around voxels that take up whole cubes. I love blocks that are exclusively not cubes. If you're one of those types of people, that's a fair opinion to have, very nice opinion. But here you go, here you can see the fruits of your labor. Here you can see what it looks like when you take a Minecraft structure and you replace all of the major blocks with blocks that aren't really blocks. Here you can see what happens when we don't have blocks in Minecraft, besides the basic things. Things start to fall apart pretty darn fast, right? Things start to get pretty confusing pretty quickly.